We are now entering our 5th year into the California drought. Farmers have been updating and modernizing their water efficiency practices to improve water resource management. According to the Public Policy Institute of California, agriculture accounts for 40% of the state's water usage. Although these farmers have already made progress towards improving their irrigation practices, more can and should be done.
Focusing on the almond industry, we're proposing to almond farmers to nudge their way into farming pistachios. This will be done by slowly changing small acres of almond trees and replacing them with pistachio trees. By nudging farmers slowly, they won't suffer a huge revenue loss, and instead, the pistachio trees in the long run will generate more revenue than the almond trees anyway. The first nudge principle we're using to convey our proposal is Save More Tomorrow. This principle invites our participants to commit themselves in advance to a series of contribution increases timed to coincide with pay raises. We'll be inviting our participants, the almond farmers, to start minimizing their almond acres and planting pistachio trees in their place instead. Though they might face a loss of revenue due to this shift, the long-run revenue will make up for it. The water usage will also decrease because we'll educate our farmers away from misconceptions involving water. One of the greater misconceptions is that a single pistachio uses up more water than a single almond, when in reality a single almond takes up 1.1 gallons and a single pistachio only takes up 0.7 gallons. Though most people believe that almonds cost more to produce, this is a misconception. Almond production in 2016 is projected to be $5.9 billion, with around $600 profit per acre. Pistachio production is projected to be $1.6 billion, with $544 profit per acre.
Pistachios are a relatively easy crop to grow. They are hardy enough to tolerate salt and other contaminants in soils and water that would harm other crops. Pistachios can survive with less water than a lot of other trees, including almonds. According to Lee Cohen, General Manager of Seton Pistachio of Terra Bella, almond trees would die after a year without water. Pistachio trees could survive and, once they can be irrigated, recover and begin producing nuts. For the current drought and possibilities of others in the future, pistachio farms are in a better position for recovery than some other crops once the drought ends, and this eliminates the need to pull the trees.
Almond trees also only have a 20-year expectancy, while pistachio trees have a solid 100 years. And when applying the finance principle of diversifying our portfolio, by investing in a riskier crop, the farmer will eventually even out their risk and build up their portfolio, because the pistachio tree will have 5 more times more of a profit than the almond trees. Diversification is a risk management tool in the financial world used to add variety to your portfolio. This is applicable to crops as well. By investing in crops that are riskier, helps diversify the farmer's portfolio and slowly eliminates risk.
The second nudge principle that applies to our proposal is the idea of counting your money while sitting at the table. The almond farmers live for today versus for tomorrow. They focus all their time and energy into their almond trees, thinking of all the revenue that'll be coming in during the almond tree's life expectancy, when in reality, if they thought about the long-term future, they'd understand that pistachios have a better future for them. In an article by the Western Farm Press, it stated that pistachios in the next 5 years will have $1 billion profit and are a better investment today than almonds. This shift to pistachios will ensure that the farmers will have a better outcome with overall revenues, and their water usage will go down.
NASS, the National Agricultural Stats Service, states that although we are having an almond boom today, it's only because these trees were planted over a decade ago. So, in the next decade, almond growers can expect to experience an almond crash. On average, the almonds peak at 12 years, yielding an incredible amount of nuts, but steadily decline soon after. The almond prices fall from $4.70 per pound to $2.60 per pound. However, the production of almonds declines, the pistachios start to increase, and they sell at a steady pace, yielding double, triple, and quadruple the amount that almonds can. Pistachios are an amazing investment because farmers don't need to use up as much water and will have more water available to them to use amongst crops that they are either currently growing or plan to grow in the future. The money generated from the pistachio tree is a long-term investment that can benefit the farmer 5 times more due to the life expectancy of an almond tree being 20 years and the pistachio tree having a life expectancy of 100 years. By taking on the quote-unquote risk that we present to our almond farmers through our nudge principles, they'll understand that there is a major misconception that they hold about risk in general. Farmers believe that risk is always a bad thing and tend to stay within their comfortable bubble, and their comfortable bubble being the almond trees in this specific example. But by convincing the almond farmers to grow pistachios, we'll introduce the topic of diversifying their crop portfolio and help them understand that the risk overall is being reduced. By adding more riskier crops into their portfolio, they'll reduce their risk significantly. Once farmers understand the concept that their quote-unquote risk is actually turning into an opportunity, they will be able to flourish within the pistachio industry, reduce their water usage, and exceed their revenues from prior years.
Gangnam Style. Crack, 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 crack in Gangnam Style. Pistachios. Crack in Gangnam Style. Psy does it, then we all go nuts.